you've acquired new rabbits, and maybe the kind of feed that they have been giving your rabbits, it's different from what you got from your local place. So like in terms of pellets, they have been using maybe a different company to feed their rabbits, and then you have this rabbit and you need to feed it to a different company that only different people that make pellets. So it's important for you as a farmer to understand how you will transition from one company to another in terms of feeding your rabbit with pellets. So in this video, we'll be doing a video on how to transition from one company to another. So my name is Emmanuel and welcome to my channel. Feel free to subscribe to it if you haven't subscribed, and also feel free to interact and comment to our videos. Also like our videos and share our videos. Welcome once again to my channel. As I told you in the introductory part, I'll be doing a video on how to transit your pellets from one company to another in terms of feeding your rabbits. So it's important for you to understand this aspect very well, because it plays a very big important role in that remember, your rabbits digestive system is different from maybe other animals. It's sensitive system in that the moment you give it pellets from a different company without doing a gradual transition, you'll end up having mortality. So it's important for you to understand this aspect well on the stages of how to do the transitioning from one company to another in terms of pellets, that you give your rabbit. So basically, before we drive into understanding on the stages or the ways on which you can do the transition, there are things that you need to know in rabbit production. Before you start maybe feeding your rabbit such kind of pellets from one company to another, there are that's three basic things that you need to understand. First, you need to make sure that there is freshness of the pellet that you give your rabbits. There is the kind of equipment that you give you use, it's clean. And then the third thing that you need to understand is the issue of timing. So the freshness here, I mean that you need to make sure that the feed that you give your rabbits are fresh. Make sure they are not they have not developed molding, and this molding usually happen mostly when you don't store your pellets in a cool and a dry place. Make sure that your pellets are stored in a cool and a dry place, away from direct rain water or direct moisture that you can get. So make sure that they are dry, so that you avoid mortality in your rabbit production. The other thing that you should understand is make sure that the feeding troughs that you use are clean and dry. And for me, I usually do mostly cleaning before I embark into feeding my rabbits with pellet. I usually make sure that the feeding equipment that I use are clean, so that you avoid contamination to your pellets. And also the other thing that you need to understand is make sure that the timely that you give your rabbit, make sure that your rabbit pellets, make sure that you have that regular timing, in that if it's you usually give your rabbit pellets at 7 a.m., make sure that it's timely, in that your rabbits, at least they are programmed and they know at this time they will be getting their feeds. This will help with the utilization of the feeds that you give your rabbit. So these are three aspects that you need to understand before you need to transition from one company to another. So let's move on. Let's understand how to do the transition from one company to another. So here you have pellets. Like in Kenya, we usually have different companies that make pellets. Just like any other country, you'll always have a different company that make this kind of feeds to animals. So any company that usually make feeds for animals, they usually also make feeds for rabbits. Like in Kenya we have two major companies that do make feeds for do make pellets for rabbits. We usually have Pembe and we usually have Unga company. So let's say for example you want to transit from Unga company to Pembe company. You have acquired this, maybe there is shortage, the issue of shortage of the feeds from Pembe, from Unga, and you want to transit from Pembe company. Or where you are a new farmer and the only feeds that you can get is Pembe. So how do you do this transition from one company to another? The first thing that you need to do is you do the rationing to make sure that like when you are feeding your rabbits, you usually have a measuring can that you usually use to feed your rabbits with. So like for me, I've programmed it's usually at 100 grams. So let's say that your rabbit you usually give your rabbit like 100 grams. So how do you do that? The first thing that you need to know is you do it quarterly. In that 25% from Unga, the old company that you have been feeding, and then it's 25% from Pembe, the new company that you are producing your feeds to, and then you will take 75% from Unga, the old company that you are transitioning from. So you do 25 to 75. That is the first week. Make sure that before that week you just give them that ratio. Then we'll move from first week to second week. So in the second week, from Monday to Sunday, make sure that you give it at 50% and 50%. Make sure that the kind of quantity that you give is 50% and 50% from Unga, 50% from Pembe. Make sure that that rationing is well observed. The other thing that during that transitioning, so that's the first week, second week, the third week you will give it at 75% the old feeds that you have been giving your rabbit, and 25% the new 75% the new feed that you give your rabbit. So it's at 25, 75 as you proceed to the third week. So make sure that at least you give it the whole of that week like that. So your rabbit will be adapting to the new feeds that you give your rabbit. From there, at the fourth week, you now transit fully from Unga to Pembe, from new to the old. So you give it at 100%. So from there you would have transit from one company to another. So it's important for you to understand this rationing very well. As I told you in the start of the video, that you need to understand this aspect very well so that to avoid mortality. Remember, rabbit digestive system is a very sensitive system, so you need to transit slowly and make sure that what I have told you in terms of cleanliness, in terms of storage of your rabbit pellets, in terms of timing, you need to observe such kind of things. And always make sure that your rabbits usually have a lot of water each and every time you give your rabbit feed. So thank you for your time, thank you for listening to me, and more videos will be coming along the way.